Welcome to Cross the Line, Oxford's premier podcast.
On today's episode, we're going to talk to head coach of the Chargers Chris Cutcliffe, long snapper and safety Lucian Giles, and wide receiver Cashe as we preview the Desoto Central Jamboree. And now we're going to talk to head coach of the Chargers, Chris Cutcliffe. Coach, thank you for being here on with us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
And let's get right into it. So, first off, how's a Jamboree set up differently from a regular game? Like, what's the format?
So the format of the Jamboree is we'll play one half of varsity, and then we'll play a third quarter that'll be designated as the JV quarter. So it won't be a four-quarter game, it'll just be three quarters.
So what is really the point of a Jamboree? Like, what are you looking to gain from it? What are you looking to learn from it for the upcoming season?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an opportunity to get our team in a game situation right before we actually, get on the, win-loss record, right, starting week one. So it's similar to the preseason in the NFL, right? So it's an opportunity to scrimmage against another team and really kind of evaluate our players, in a game-like situation before we hit the regular season.
And like the one-team scrimmage last week, was that sort of to get you ready for the Jamboree? Like just kind of get the offense flowing, defense flowing, get everything right? Yes,
that's right. And that's the first day that you're allowed to practice in full pads, by the MHSAA. So I think, most teams around the state take that opportunity to scrimmage on that Saturday. And like you said, that's kind of a test run before you hit the Jamboree. So everything's kind of building towards that first regular season game.
So it's no secret that we have a new quarterback transfer, Mac Howard. He came in from Heritage Academy. What have you seen from him so far that's just excited you?
Well, I think Mac has, number one, has come in. I think he's been a great teammate. And, I think he's done a great job of coming into a new place, and immediately taking on that role first to being a great teammate, right? And he's also been, I think, a great leader in the locker room and on the field. And, he certainly has a lot of ability, and so we're excited to see what he can do this fall.
And it's so important to have that leadership role, like as a quarterback. So it's definitely great that he's already done that so far. Let's start talking about the offense. So last year, returning our three best receivers, Cashe, Giles, Dane Harmon, and Jack Harper. Those guys are all back. Are there any new guys that are stepping up in those positions? And what about those three guys? What are we looking like?
Yeah, at receiver, I think we have a good bit of depth. We've been rotating a lot of guys in practice and in scrimmages to try to get a lot of looks at receiver and find out, as we move through the season, what's going to be the best combination of players and who's going to play outside, who's going to play slot, and all of those things. So we've looked at a lot of different combinations there. We've had a lot of guys, really play well. I thought we had guys play well throughout the spring and through 7-on-7 in the summer. So, I feel like we do have a lot of depth at that group. We really have 8 guys right now that are, varsity players at receiver, and so that's a lot of depth at that position. And so I think that's exciting to have a lot of different guys that we trust to get it done. And you mentioned Jack, the tight end position. We've looked good there as well. And developing some depth there. And, I think I'm excited about what we've got, at receiver and tight end. I think we've got a lot of good players.
So, 8 receivers. So, Jamboree, is that a good time to look around in those 8 receivers, like switch them out, see wwho really needs that spot, who deserves that spot?
Yeah, absolutely. Planning to play 8 receivers in the first half of that game. And, it is an opportunity to evaluate. It's an opportunity to get things on film and see what you do against another opponent.
Okay, so let's head into the offensive line, losing some senior starters to graduation. I know that Reese Sams is gone, Stratton Smith's gone, Bryce Mullen's gone. I think a few others are gone too, but how's it looking over there at offensive line?
Well, we do have Jamel Johnson, Henry Green, and Nelson Barr all back that have played a lot for us. And so, when you have guys that have kind of been in those, big game situations, that's definitely helpful. And, we've got some other guys that we're excited about, some other guys that are competing for playing time there. And, one of the things we try to do, again, early in the season is play some different guys, play some different combinations of players, different positions, move guys around, and kind of just see, as we settle in over the course of the season, who the best 5 and what the best combination of 5 guys is. And so, having 3 guys back with a lot of experience is great, but it's also been a lot of fun to watch other guys kind of compete for spots as well.
Yeah, that's super cool. So Henry Green had an injury last year, tore his ACL. I think that was early in the season, if I remember correctly. How is he rebounding from that? Is he back to normal? Has he looked basically what he was before?
Yeah, Henry's back healthy. I think he did an excellent job attacking his physical therapy and getting himself healthy. He did a great job, and he does. He looks full speed, and we're glad to see Henry back out on the practice field for sure.
Good. Okay, so lastly, on offense, we got Roman Gregory back. He's a very familiar face if you've been watching Oxford football. I think it's his third year taking varsity snaps, and so how important is that to have a guy like that coming back?
Yeah, I think that's a huge luxury to have a 1,000-yard rusher coming back. And Roman had a great, really like you said, a great 2 years for us, and so we're excited to see him take that next step as a senior, and play at an even higher level. And again, we're developing depth there. We're competing right now for who's going to earn those the second carries that come from the running back spot. So we have some guys that we're excited about, and I'm really looking forward to evaluating that group Friday night as well.
Okay, so let's head into the defense. Defensive line, we got Malachi Piggies, Montaigne Bonner, and Malik Bell all coming back. 3 veteran guys that played a lot last year. Defensive line's got a lot of depth. What are we looking like there?
Well, I think we do a really good job. Coach Boost does a good job of developing depth with the defensive front. I think that's a place where you've got to play a lot of players. You've got to rotate guys in and out, and we've done that. So you have a lot of guys that have played meaningful snaps. And you mentioned Malachi, as a senior kind of leader of that group. He's done a great job. But, again, I think that's a spot where we have some depth. I think we can rotate 6 or 8 guys in at that spot that we feel like can get some snaps on Friday nights. And so, when you're able to do that and develop that kind of depth, it makes a guy like Malachi that much better in the fourth quarter when you're able to rotate in and out.
So let's go to the defensive backs. We got Ryan Kirkwood returning. We lose E.J. Wadley, who was big time for us. He played a lot of snaps last year. He was very good at the safety position. What's it looking like at the defensive back?
Yeah, glad to have Ryan, back. And he's, I think, had a great summer and a great fall camp so far. And we will have some new faces outside of that. We've got guys competing there, really for playing time at corner and safety. And so, it's kind of a common theme, but especially early in the season, we're evaluating all the time. We're evaluating every day at practice, evaluating every chance we get. To scrimmage and now to play a Jamboree. So I'm looking forward to seeing how we play at safety Friday night and what that looks like and how we play at the other corner spot. It's going to be exciting to watch.
Sounds good. I think we're all excited. And lastly on defense, let's talk about Alex Sanford. Arkansas commit, had a great season a year ago. Really felt like he was a leader of that defense, and I think he led the team in tackles last year and hoping to do the same. How important is it to have a guy like that? And not just him. Martavius is back at linebacker. Got a lot of linebackers coming back. That's a really deep group too. What about that linebacker group?
I think it is a deep group. Alex is obviously extremely talented and has been a very productive player for us his whole career. He's a great leader and works extremely hard in the weight room on the practice field. We've got a deep group. You mentioned Martavius Blackman. He's been phenomenal so far through fall camp. He's played at a really high level. Cashe has played really well. We've got a lot of depth at that linebacker spot. We've got some young guys playing really well. I think that's a group that has a lot of speed and a lot of depth. And I think it's going to be exciting to see kind of a few new faces there and just see who wins those jobs and how that shakes out.
A lot of depth on the defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about individual people or even position groups that you've seen that you're excited about for the upcoming season. Like, who's really stepped up?
Well, we can talk about some young players that have kind of jumped on the scene and are playing really well right now. So, defensively, B.J. Mix as a 10th grader has really played at a high level through the summer and fall, and so he's a guy that has just jumped out as a young guy who's earned varsity playing time as a 10th grader. Which maybe doesn't happen all that often. And then I would say at receiver, Levi Blunt has done the same. He played really well in the spring game as a 10th grader, and has really earned playing time as a 10th grader. Again, doesn't happen all that often. So, those two guys have definitely jumped out. Gray McGowan and Carter Kirk will start Friday night on the offensive line as 2 10th graders. So, when you see 10th graders kind of step up and earn playing time right off the bat, that always jumps out at you.
That's some awesome stuff. So let's talk about last year's team compared to this one. What's different offensively, defensively, scheme-wise, players? What's different?
I think each team kind of has its own personality to a certain degree, for sure. And so there's differences in that. We've been fortunate to have a lot of stability in our coaching staff. So I think our systems on offense, defense, and special teams. I think we've been fortunate to have a lot of stability in our coaching staff, and so that allows you to have a well-developed system on offense, defense, and special teams. So you can tweak things year to year, to highlight the players that we have and ask them to do things that they do well. But it's not a complete overhaul because the system is in place. So, I think there's minor changes year to year, but I think that consistency has been a really good thing for us.
Well, let's talk about the schedule. So last year played more away games than we did home games. A lot of long road trips. It was different for sure. Difficult, I'm sure. Is it better? Is it more of an advantage to have more home games than away games?
Well, it was challenging last year to have all of those long trips. I think that did wear on everybody, by the end of the season. So I'm glad to see that flip this year. But it's one of those things that we talk to the players a lot about is, just control what you can control. So that's one of those things. It's a random drawing, who you're home and who you're away against. And so we really can't control those things, but we've got to find a way to play at a high level regardless, right? And so that should be kind of our focus. But it would definitely be nice to play more home games this season, no doubt about it.
Sounds good. So let's go back into the Jamboree. So playing Desoto Central Jaguars, went 6-6 last year, 5-2 district record. They're returning a few guys. I know they're returning quarterback. They're returning a really good player on the defensive side of the ball. What do you know about Desoto Central, and what is the key to winning this game?
Well, you mentioned their quarterback. I was impressed with him. They played Madison Central in the first round of the playoffs, so we saw, that film the following week, and I thought he played really, really well in that game. I was impressed with him, and so, he is back, like you mentioned, and, Desoto Central has always had a lot of ability, a lot of big players. I feel like, I believe it's the second largest school in the state, so. They're always a talented team, a good, tough opponent. And so, I think their coaching staff does a great job. And it's a team that used to be a region opponent for us, but now we haven't played in a couple of years. So, it'll be, somebody that we've been familiar with in the past, but maybe the players on our team right now, are not as familiar with them. So, I think the key right now for us is to focus on us on both sides of the ball. We don't spend a whole lot of time in a Jamboree. To be honest, game planning specifically for an opponent and things like that, we want to really just focus on us on all three phases of the game and really execute well, play with a lot of effort, and do little things that you want to see early in the season that show, that our practice habits have been where they need to be.
I want to thank you for being on with us, and we hope to have you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all.
This podcast is sponsored by Neilson's. Neilson's, where trends meet tradition.
I'm here with Oxford safety and long snapper Lucian Giles and wide receiver Cashe. Henry, take it away.
And this Friday we have a Jamboree against DeSoto Central at 6. And how is this Jamboree really a learning point for how the season's going to be going?
Well, let me first say thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
So Coach Cut tells us almost every day you want to get 1% better, and I think we're going to take that to the game because at the end of the day, after this game, the record's still 0-0. So we're just going to take it as a learning point and move on to Brandon. But obviously, you still want to win the game.
Cash?
Yeah, the 1% better I think is going to apply to the game this Friday because we want to, of course we want to win this Friday and play our best football, but we want to get things that we can learn from and take to the regular season so when it counts, we're playing better football than we were in the Jamboree. And I think just learning from it is going to be the most important thing Friday.
All right, Lucian, I got a question about the defense. So, got a lot of guys returning at the linebacker spot, defensive back, defensive line. How's it looking in your opinion? How do you guys look so far?
Personally, I think we have the best defense in the state. I think we got a lot of guys returning. We got a lot of guys coming in that are very good that could have started last year. I think we're fast, we're physical, we're aggressive. Coach Rob's a great defensive mind. Coach Moore, Coach Sanders, whole defensive staff, Coach Boos, everyone. It's just they're so smart and intelligent, and they've just created such a great scheme that I feel like everyone can succeed in.
You know what they say, defense wins championships.
Defense does win championships.
All right, Cash, let's talk about the offense. I know we got a lot of receivers returning. 3 of our top receivers are returning. A lot of new guys I've heard have stepped up in big ways. Got a really good running back in Roman Gregory. And, of course, let's talk about a new quarterback transfer from Heritage Academy, Mac Howard. What has that been like, the transition for him, and how are y'all looking?
Yeah, man, the offense has got a lot of firepower. I think it's going to be really electric this year, and we're going to put up a lot of points. We got a lot of depth at receiver. We got probably 8 guys that can see the field as varsity players. And Coach Cut mentioned earlier today about Levi Blunt. He's a really young guy, but he's stepped up, and he's filling some really big shoes. Like, he's playing really good football right now at such a young age, and he's just going to get better as time goes on. But Mac Howard, yeah, he's legit, man. He's been awesome. We've built a connection, on and off the field, we're really good friends outside of football, and then come football, we're thinking alike, we're doing everything right, and we're connecting like we should. And it's been awesome to have him here. He's done a lot for the offense already, and the season hasn't even started. So I can't wait to see what he's going to be like once we get going.
Let me say off of what Cashe was saying. Levi, he's a dog. He's been coming at the defense. He's been killing us. So can't wait to see him during the season.
Love to see young guys like that stepping up.
So last year you had a bunch of traveling to Jackson and back basically, and how does this year's schedule being more home focused really help the team out morale-wise?
I mean, I think last year we were all just so exhausted at the end of the season, like having a 3-hour drive every week. You knew, 3-hour drive. So this year, only having 3 of those, it's going to help a lot, and especially when you have such a great fan base, such a great atmosphere in the stadium, the ozone. Everyone around you, it's just going to help out a ton.
Yeah, the bus rides were definitely last year a big factor. Like, I know myself included, a lot of people dreaded having to be on the bus for that long every week, it seemed like, and this year taking a lot of that away and keeping a lot of our games at home, I think it's going to be a big factor as well in our side this year.
Also, off that, you're sitting on the bus for 3 hours. I mean, you're not moving around or anything, so you get off the bus and you're sore and you're real tight.
I can imagine. Okay, so let's talk about the team. We got 2 seniors here with me. How's the senior class been leadership-wise? How do you think the team has kind of adapted with y'all as seniors and bonded with you guys so far?
A lot of the seniors on our team take that leadership role into account, and they really do a really good job of it. Guys that just come to mind like Lucian and Ryan and Alex Sanford, Cashe, those seniors on the defense, they really bring it every day in the weight room in practice. They're being vocal, they're showing that good leadership, and not just to, the starters that play on the field, but the young guys in their position groups. They don't just shut those guys out and just only worry about them and the starters. They're always picking up the young guys and making sure that they're doing good and following up and doing everything right, so that when they get the chance for their varsity time, they can succeed. And it's nice to watch that, especially from the defensive side, because I'm not around the defense all the time, but I can still notice it. Those guys, they do a really good job over there.
And like Cashe was saying, from the defense, I noticed a lot of guys like him and Mac, and Roman, just helping guys out and being great leaders. But I feel like this senior class is really special. I feel like all of us are really close, and a bunch of different guys from all sorts of different backgrounds. But despite that, we're all really close. And I feel like any senior on the team, honestly, could be a captain. I just feel like all the guys are such great leaders. Yeah.
Is there a game on this schedule that you see and you're like, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I want to beat them. I just want to destroy them?
I think Madison Central, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, last year, losing to them in the playoffs, almost two times in 3 weeks, that hurt. So
That Madison Central game, man, it's senior night, last regular season of the game. I circled that one on the schedule. I can't wait for that one.
for sure. And then obviously, guys across town, Tupelo.
Yeah. That's always my favorite of the year.
So yeah,
Get to go to Tupelo this year. That'll be fun.
that would be fun.
I want to go back to the leadership roles. To win a state championship, it takes more than just talent. We know we have talent. We've got talent on both sides of the ball, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. But to really win a state championship, you've got to buy in as a team. You've got to have a great senior class, which I know that we have, and you've got to buy in. You got to get everybody to buy in if you really want to go all the way. So I don't know if you guys have bought in, but if you want to win a state championship, because I know that's y'all's goal, do you think y'all buy in? Do you think that y'all are going to be able to buy in? Is that like something that y'all are really looking for?
110% think this team has already bought in. I mean, just the things that Coach Cut preaches to us, everyone believes and like does it. And I mean, every day that the team goes out ready to practice. I mean, there hasn't been. It's surprising. Like years in the past, there's been days guys don't really want to practice, but every day this year, I feel like everyone's wanted to be there.
Yeah, we have these core values for Oxford football that we have, and a main one that sticks out when we talk about leadership is family. It's our Wednesday value, but Coach Cut talks just all the time about how family, it can be real or it can be fake. And I really think that this team, especially this senior class, that family value is real, and it's going to show throughout the season on Friday nights that when things maybe aren't going our way, we're not going to turn on each other, and we're not going to put our heads down, because we know what we have, and we know that we can count on each other win the game.
That's the difference maker for sure.
So which coach are you the most excited to see at every practice?
I mean, there's a lot of guys. They bring a lot of energy to the team, but I think one that stands out that I'm personally close with, I know Cashe is too, is Coach Dotson. He brings it every day.
Oh, yeah.
Despite, whatever it may be, he brings it. And then you got Coach Boos on the defense. He'll fire you up. He'll get you ready to run through a brick wall.
Oh, yeah. It'd definitely be Dodson for me. You know, he's been my position coach too, and he's like Lucian said, I mean, he's bringing it every day, whether something happened last night, he doesn't feel good, it doesn't matter. When it comes practice time, he brings it, and he can put a smile on everybody's faces with the energy he brings.
I feel like that it makes it a lot easier to practice.
Yeah.
When you got guys like that out there.
So do y'all have any pregame, superstitions or routines you go through every time?
I'm notoriously superstitious. I've got a long list of superstitions that most of the team knows about. So on Thursday night, you got to eat your Chick-fil-A. That's going to be messed up with them closing soon. You got to figure that out.
Well, you can go to the Union.
That's true.
You can go to the Union.
Then, game day morning. No, okay, so I have to wear the same sliding shorts that I used to wear for baseball for football games. Then I have to wear the same pants and the same shoes. Then, at pregame meal, I have to eat Jimmy John's. When I turn the corner going to the facility, I have to listen to the exact same song. It's either Set It Off by Boosie or Surf Swag by Lil Wayne. It depends on how we're doing at the time. Shout out to Jack Tannehill for giving me that one. And then, what else? I think that's it. I'm sure there's more that I can't think of.
Yeah. I don't have very many superstitions, but I know Friday mornings, me and a couple of the offensive guys eat breakfast at the Beacon before school. And then right before we go out for warm-ups on the field, I have a motivational video I watch every time. It fires me up, gets me ready to go.
I might have to start watching the first scene of Hard Knocks. Dan Campbell firing everyone up. That might be a new one this year.
Who's better, Lil Wayne or Boosie?
Lil Wayne, easy.
Let's say it's game day. What's your go-to music? What are you listening to all day?
Jason Aldean, all day.
Jason Aldean.
All day.
Jason Aldean.
Fire
To
me
get ready
up.
for a football
You can call
game.
me up.
Jason Aldean fires me up.
Interesting.
It changes weekly. Sometimes I go like a more chiller route, just kind of like calm before the storm sort of thing, and then other days rap, Lil Wayne.
Just whatever you're feeling, huh?
You need to get Lights Come On by Jason Aldean on that pregame playlist. It'll fire you up.
Lights come on.
Before every game, Dreams and Nightmares, Ashton Shorter and I scream every word to it in the locker room.
Respect.
Is there any freshman player that just sort of gets on your nerves? That you just can't really. I mean, you like him, you love him. He's your brother, but you just every now and then he'll just sort of get to you.
I mean, obviously, number 8 Fisher Giles. He's annoying.
The little brother.
He tries. You gotta try to help him, but yeah.
I don't know if anyone was at the one-team scrimmage, but the offense looks a little different. Looks like it's more fast-paced. Is there an advantage to that? What's the reasoning for that?
Yeah, man, we're going a lot faster this year. Our tempo is really boosted up, and I think it's going to be a real big advantage on our side because it can wear defenses down, and it can get them tired pretty quickly, which then we can use to our advantage to get plays off faster. And also having depth at receiver with a tempo offense is a really big key because we can run go routes 2 or 3 in a row and still have guys to sub in while their defense is getting tired. We're having fresh legs on the field, and that's just been a really big advantage that we've talked about as a receiver group all year.
I say even though we do dog them every day, they do wear us out with that tempo. It gets guys tired. You got Cashe running a go. Ryan's gassed, jogging all the way back down the field, and here comes Levi. Runs another go. Ryan's got to run all the way back. And then you just got another guy coming in. It's just person after person after person. It never stops. And then the way they spread the field out is just insane. The space they create is crazy.
Wearing them down.
So obviously you have a new punter back there, William Wilkinson. And so what's the adjustment from snapping to Ben Gabo to William Wilkinson?
There's not much of an adjustment. Same target. But smaller body maybe. But he's a great punter. He's a great kicker. So I just can't wait to see him out there. Hopefully I can pin some punch down there for him. But it'll be fun.
Okay, so both of you guys, Lucian, you can answer first. What do you personally want to gain from this season?
I mean, I think the obvious answer is a state championship. I mean, that's what everyone on the team wants. That's what everyone's working for. That's what. I mean, if you're not working for that, then I mean, what are you doing? So.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, of course we want to get a state championship out here, but I think, individually, as a player, I want to gain, I want to be more football smart. I want to understand the game more and learn throughout the whole season, why we do the things we do on this play, or on this play, why are we doing this? I want to gain more football knowledge and become more aware of what's going on the field at all times.
Okay, let's talk more about Mac Howard, new transfer from Heritage Academy. Came in during the spring. He's, I guess, was he there the whole spring?
Yeah.
There the whole spring, starting fall camp now. What has the transition been like for him? But not just the transition. How has he just bought into this team? Has he just come in and been a leader right away? And how's that looked?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty quick. As soon as he got here, he took on that, quarterback leadership role. And it's just, he's been bought in, I think, since he got here. Like, I know it's got to be difficult to leave all those, best friends he's had for his whole life, and those teammates that he's played by since he was young. Like, I know that must have been really difficult. But I think a lot of us did a good job of welcoming him when he got here and making him feel like a part of this team, a part of this family, as Coach Cutt likes to call it, which we all know it is a family. And I think he feels like he belongs, and it helps him perform out on the field knowing that he's playing by 10 other brothers when he's on offense and that everybody has his back, and he embraces that and does a really good job with it.
I mean, he came in. The first day he came was the first day of spring boot camp, which isn't exactly the easiest thing to come into. And he was cheering guys on he didn't even know. I mean, it was an immediate, like, you felt it. He bought in immediately, and I think everyone saw that and was like, I mean, this he's here, and he doesn't just make the offense better. He makes the defense better because we get to practice against such a great quarterback like that. Such an incredible quarterback.
Let's add on to what you were saying. So he is a leader. We know that. Let's talk about what does he bring to the table. He's a different type of athlete. He's a Utah commit, big-time quarterback. I think he's highly rated in the state, highly rated in the country. What does that help you as an offense? Like, what does that bring to the table?
He's got, I mean, he really is a stud. He's got multiple weapons. His accuracy is very, very good. He can put the ball wherever he wants, and he's always on the money. He rarely, misses balls and stuff. But along with his accuracy, his arm strength is very good. He's got a very strong arm. He can throw it as far as you need him to. He can run a little bit. He likes to run too. That's one thing me and him have talked about. He enjoys running the ball. I mean, yes, he would rather sit in there, sit in the pocket and throw a good pass, but when he needs to use his legs, he loves it and he likes to. So I'm really looking forward to playing with him. I think we're going to have a lot of fun, put up a lot of points, and it's going to be fun to watch.
And as a guy on the defense, someone who has to deal with all the weapons he has, he slings it. And he puts it, like Cashe said, he puts it right where he wants it. I mean, NFL pockets. I mean, it's crazy. And then if he doesn't get to what he wants, I mean, he'll run out there, run 30 yards, and juke you out. So I mean, he's just a great athlete. It's been fun to watch him.
He's got that dog mentality in his head. Like he's not the kind of quarterback where if he takes off running and he gets popped
scared
out of bounds, he's got no fear. He'll pop right back up and start getting in your face and talking crap. Like he's the kind of guy you want back there playing quarterback.
He's not scared. He'll run that. I mean, it scares me sometimes when he runs, but I know he's going to pop right back up. And he's a competitive guy, but he's kind of like Joe Montana. Like you used to call him Joe Cool. I mean, he doesn't no emotion change. He's very calm.
Is there one play from last year where you look back and you're like, yeah, I really showed out that play, or I just cannot believe that I just did that?
Oh, yeah, for me it would be the South Tanola game in the playoffs. That first round we were up by I'd say 20 points in the first half, and I think we kind of let up a little bit, and then the third quarter came around and it's a tie game, I think, or we're up by 3 or something, and then in the fourth quarter it's tied, and I ran a dig across the field at the 30 and then ran it all the way to the end zone for a 70-yard touchdown and put us up to win the game. And that one, after that, I couldn't believe it. I was still in shock when we got on the bus.
I was fired up.
I was fired up. I was so excited.
I'll have to take the blame for it being a tie, but Cashe came and saved us. For me, I didn't play too much last year, but one moment that stands out to me is Germantown. I went in and dropped an interception, but it kept us. It won the game for us basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we all know that the end goal is to win a state championship. Mm-hmm. What do we have to do as a team to get to that point? What is it going to take?
I think we just gotta, everything that we've been putting in since the spring, the off season, the summer. I think everything, all of that just has to come together. We all have to, every single player has to buy in to what we're doing here. And I think with the talent we have, the ability, and then just putting all that together, I don't see anything that could stop us.
I agree. It's just the little things, getting the little things right. I mean, that's all it is. I mean,
yeah, we put a big emphasis on the little things.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we work on every single day, and I think that's going to pay off in the end. But I mean, alignment, assignment, all that stuff we talk about. That's all it is.
So we're going to change pace, and so right now in Oxford, what's your go-to restaurant?
I gotta go Volta. Easy.
I'm probably Handy Andy.
Handy Andy. Good answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right
Handy
by each
Andy,
other.
proud sponsorship of the Ozone. We go every
I
single
know.
Friday before games. We love Handy Andy. Okay, what's your favorite game? If you had to play a video game, what's your favorite video game?
Personally, I play a lot of MLB The Show. Big The Show guy.
I don't play very many video games, but I think NCAA 14 would probably be
Back in
my
the day,
favorite,
Cashe was a dog in Fortnite.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with Cashe in Fortnite.
They don't know nothing about Anarchy
a
Acres.
couple years ago, yeah, Fortnite was my.
Back in the day.
Every day, every night.
Every night. He was
Hundreds
grinding.
spent
He
in
was
the shop.
grinding.
Yeah, I spent a little too much money on that game.
Did you?
We just want to thank y'all for coming on the podcast, and just want to wish y'all best of luck in y'all season going forward.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, thank y'all for having us.
Thank you for tuning in to Cross the Line. Listen in next week for our next episode.